Hey guys, welcome to Ball Cap Sports. So we have the Dodgers. If you're just joining us, we have the Dodgers and Red Sox executing the trade to send David Price and Mookie Betts out west. Details are still coming in. Joc Pederson was the first to break it. Jon Heyman about an hour ago was talking about how this could happen. And here it is. Betts and Price traded to LA. We're still getting information. It looks like, listen, as it's breaking, I'm going to sort of just relay the news that I'm getting. The first name that I'm hearing is that Alex Verdugo could be included in this deal. You know, there's got to be a lot going back to the Red Sox. And, you know, you can't you can't trade your franchise centerpiece player and not get something back. Now, this deal happens because the Dodgers and Red Sox work out an agreement here where the Red Sox they want to get rid of this David Price salary, and unfortunately, to do that, this is how it has to go down. I'm looking up. Let's see. I'm watching Passan right now. I'm watching Heyman. Those are the guys that are going to give us. The information, because what I want to know next is who's going back the other way. Passan about 10 minutes ago also tweeting per Ken Rosenthal that there could be a third team involved. So again, as all this is sort of going down and happening, we're gonna follow that, and we're gonna just sort of pass on what's out there. But this is a big one. I have sort of been surprised over the last couple of weeks. You've got a lot of big names that have been talked about being dealt. You had Nolan Arenado, you had Chris Bryant, you had Francisco Lindor, you had Mookie Betts. 4 big names, 4 of the top, 25 guys in all of baseball, franchise members of their teams talking about being traded. And Mookie Betts was one. The Red Sox are trying to get the payroll down. I get that. That Price contract was just choking them out. So they needed to get rid of David Price. That's how this sort of ties in. And that's why it's Price and Betts. But Mookie Betts, man, that is your centerpiece, your cornerstone for the Boston Red Sox. And my argument was with all these guys, with Arenado, with Betts, with Lindor, these guys are young. They are your best pieces. These are the guys. Betts is 27. You build around these guys. You don't trade these guys. You do what you can. Get rid of other guys. Get rid of JD Martinez. He's older. Mookie Betts has another 10 years. Mookie Betts, 2018 MVP. He's been in the MVP conversation every year since he became a regular. Every year since he became a regular, he's received MVP votes. And of the 4 last year, for the 4 last years of his career, he has been in the top 10 MVP voting. He was a runner-up in 16. He was 6th in 17. He won it in 18, and he was 8th last year. He was 8th in the MVP voting last year, and he regressed. Stolen bases went from 30 to 16. Homers were down 32 to 29. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but he had almost 100 more plate appearances in 19 from 18. So you had his power went down. He wasn't stealing as many bases. His batting average, his slash line dropped too, to below career averages. So Mookie Betts isn't coming off the best year, but he was still 8th in the MVP voting last year. So this is kind of surprising. All right, here's what we got. Ken Rosenthal just tweeting out, Joc Pederson will go from the Dodgers to the Angels if this deal is completed. So a lot has to happen here. We still have to have physicals. It has to be approved. I mean, this is just coming out kind of stuff. So something could still happen, and this could fall apart. Let's hope that it doesn't, but it's a big one. I haven't seen anything from Nightingale just yet. We got somebody saying they gave up Seager. They're going to have sent some good stuff back to Boston. And again, there's talk of there could be a third team, and it looks like the Angels could be that third team here if we got Joc Pederson moving around. So again, we're watching Rosenthal, we're watching Passan, we're watching Heyman. Those are the guys who seem to be locked into this thing. 1 minute ago, Heyman tweeting out, Price will indeed accompany Betts to LA. Verdugo and more go to the Red Sox. So that's new information that we're just getting within the last minute. Alex Verdugo will be also in this deal. We're thinking that Joc Pederson could be in the deal, but that's with the third team. That's with the Angels. So there's a lot happening right now. And again, we're coming on. We're talking about it. Okay, so here we go. So that whole Pederson thing is a side note. We've got the Twins. John Heyman just tweeting out the Twins are indeed involved in this Betts deal as the third team, likely involving pitching. So this is wild. So the Passan just tweeting out the Twins are the third team in the blockbuster deal with the Red Sox and Dodgers if it passes medical reviews as expected. So we're watching this. We know that there's going to be a lot of breaking information that comes out here over the next few minutes, and we're going to watch it. We're going to break it down. So here's the deal. It also looks like the Dodgers are expected to pay about half of David Price's salary. He has $96 million to go over the next 3 years, which is just absurd. But when the Red Sox went out and got David Price, it's what they needed to do because David Price was a hot commodity when he was a free agent. If you remember, Price had put up some nice years in Detroit, and he was traded to Toronto for Toronto's run to try to make it to the World Series. When he went to Toronto, he went 9-1 in 11 games with an ERA at 2.30, struck out 87 in 74 innings. He was a key component to that Blue Jays team. Hits the free agent market, and he was able to command a very high salary, and he got it from the Red Sox. And in his first year in Boston, he was good, 17-9. He was a good player. He was a really good pitcher. High ERA, 3.99. That's not great, but listen, he was out there, struck out 228 and 230 innings, led the league in innings pitched in his first year in Boston. But then the injuries kind of crept up. 6-3 in 2017, only appeared in 16 games. 2018 had a nice year, had a nice run in the postseason, you remember. But last year, 22 starts, a 4.28 ERA. Things are going in the wrong direction for David Price at this point. So the Red Sox, trying to unload salary, don't want to pay David Price what he's got coming. So the Dodgers, from Heyman, looks like they're going to pay about half of that salary. And Price is going to be included in this deal. Talking here, Yankee Films, Dustin May is not confirmed to be going to the Twins. So now that could be interesting. What are the Twins? What is their involvement at this point? And that's really what I'm looking forward to seeing. How are the Twins involved? What are they getting? Again, it looks like pitching is going to be included there. And here's the other thing to note, guys. Joc Pederson, if this deal goes through, Ken Rosenthal is reporting that Joc Pederson would go from the Dodgers to the Angels if this deal is completed, because the Dodgers are now going to be taking on a ton of salary, and they're going to have to offset for that as well. And Joc Pederson is an area where they can, because where are you going to play him? This is the issue where the Dodgers, even last year, had a position where they had a lot of talent in that field. Let's pull up the depth chart real quick. So you got Pollock, Verdugo, Taylor, Bellinger, Pederson, all guys that can play in the outfield, and now Betts. So you got to do something here. Somebody's got to go. The pitching rotation is okay. So, and you got May coming up to join this rotation of Buehler, Kershaw, Maeda, Arias, and Wood. I think, ideally the Dodgers might have a different, number 5 starter. I don't know how I know Wood had a good year a couple years ago, but do they want to roll into that with him at 5? That might be May's spot, and Wood goes to the bullpen. We'll see if May's even on the team at the end of this. So with Betts coming in, where's Joc Pederson play? And Joc Pederson was a platoon player anyway last year. He had a fantastic year when he was in there, but you just don't know. He's just too inconsistent, right, Joc Pederson? So you replace him with Betts. That outfield now, man, you got Bellinger and you got Betts. Doesn't matter who's in that third spot. You have one of the best outfields, whether it's going to be Pollock, Verdugo, Taylor, whoever is still on the team. Bellinger and Betts in that outfield is just going to be is going to be scary. So you'll have Buehler, Kershaw, Maeda. You know, it's the 4 and 5 spot. Price is going to fit in there somewhere. Is it Urias? Is it Wood? Is Urias being dealt in this situation? We're going to have to kind of watch this and kind of see how it works out. Let me see what we've got, if we have any more information from any of the guys that we're following. Again, we're looking at Mark Feinstein just tweeted out, Twins are the third team. We're looking at Heyman. We're looking at Passan. Right now, looks like the news is kind of slowing down. We don't have anything new right now. But again, once we do, we'll pass it along. But this is a big one. There's been, again, a lot of talk about some of these franchise cornerstone players that are in the trade wins, and this is the first one to go. Heyman tweeted about an hour ago that the deal was gaining momentum. And I tell you what, when John Heyman tweets that, that means it's coming. That has always been John Heyman's deal. When Marte was dealt a week or so ago to the Diamondbacks, 10 minutes before the trade was announced, he comes out and he says that it looks like the talks are picking up. And then next thing you know, the trade happens. So you got to watch Heyman with these things, because he's so locked in to what's going on. So we're watching. We're looking to see who else is involved in this deal. Passan hasn't tweeted any more than when he announced that the Twins are part of the deal. Let's check. That's Heyman. Let's check Passan real quick and see what he's got, if he has anything new. All right. We only have, at this point, we've got a lot of speculation with who else is going to be involved in this trade. A speculation of Verdugo. We do know per Ken Rosenthal that if this trade goes down, that Joc Pederson's going to the Angels. Dodgers have to start making room for Mookie Betts. So we do know that's coming down. Here's what I'll say. I'm going to say this. Listen, we got to see what talent Boston's getting back, but how are you feeling? If we've got any Boston fans that are watching this right now, how are you feeling? This can't feel great. Even if you're getting Verdugo, who's a great talent, but we haven't seen him do anything near the level of what Betts has done. Verdugo was nice in a part-time role last year. You get Verdugo back. I mean, that's nice. Is Gavin Lux a part of this deal? We don't know that. We know his name was sort of tossed out there that it could potentially be in this deal. Who knows? What do we have there with Gavin Lux? Is he involved? We don't know. And what is the Twins' involvement here? So those are a lot of questions that we're looking to have answered here. Let's take a look real quick and talk about Verdugo, because that seems to be a name that's out there on Twitter right now as a guy who could be going to Boston. In his career, Alex Verdugo has actually been up for the last 3 seasons. He really didn't get any substantial playing time until last year. So 2017, 25 plate appearances, 4 hits, didn't do anything. 2018, he comes up, gets in 37 games. Doesn't really do much there either. 20 hits in 77 at-bats. But last year was a nice year for him. 106 games, 343 plate appearances, 101 hits. He slashed 294, 342, and 475 with 22 home runs. He was productive. He was good. There's a lot of good potential there. But where's that go? JD Martinez tweeting out a sad face. Yeah, like I can't imagine that the Red Sox fans even care what's coming back at this point, because you just lost your guy that's supposed to be the guy you were going to build your team around for the next 10 years. What is I loved it. I can't wait to hear Red Sox fans and what they think. Because now, listen, you got Bogarts. He's nice. Devers, great third baseman. Benintendi really just fell off the table last year. It was terrible. They're going to need a bounce back year from him. Betts is gone. And JD Martinez. JD Martinez is 31 years old. Figure you got a couple good years left of JD Martinez. But, why isn't he dealt? You got JD Martinez under contract until 2022. He's got 5 years, $109 million that he signed back in 2018. So he's making some dough. But obviously, Mookie Betts is the guy that you're going to get the most back for, because he's young and he's going to produce for a long time. Now, Mookie Betts was putting off the contract extension, right? That was another piece of news that came out recently, that Mookie Betts didn't want the extension offer that the Red Sox offered. What was we had 10 million or 10 years, 300 million. Now, okay, that's a nice offer, but when you see what guys of Mookie's level are getting out on the free agent market right now, that's not enough. Harper, Machado, Trout, that's the conversation that Mookie Betts is in with. He needs more. He just needs more than that at this point, the way salaries are going. So we're watching this. We are looking at, okay, Mark Feinsand tweets out 2 minutes ago. Source says Dustin May is not involved in the Betts deal. So top pitching prospect Dustin May, according to Feinsand, is not included in the deal. And Dustin May made his major league debut last year, one of the top pitching prospects in the Dodgers organization, top pitching prospect in all of baseball. He's 21 years old, came up, was pretty good. 14 games, started 4 of them, pitched to an ERA of 3.63 and a whip of 1.09, which is, that's nice. Had a K rate just under 9. Walked 5 guys in 34 innings. That's nice too. So you're going to see how that kind of plays out. His projection for 2020. I mean, going off numbers from last year, his projections are really it's nothing you can really take to the bank. So we won't even bring that up. But it looks like, according to Feinsand, that Dustin May will not be involved. We have a new tweet from Ken Rosenthal. Dodgers are sending Kenta Maeda to the Twins for prospects. So Maeda is going to the Twins. So we take him out of the depth chart. Let me pull that back up here. Sorry, guys. I'm switching between a few tabs here. So back to the depth chart. You got Buehler, Kershaw, Maeda, gone. Going to the Twins. You replace him with David Price. So you got, right now, 4 lefties in that starting rotation. Walker Buehler will be the lone right-handed pitcher coming at you. Kershaw's a lefty, Urias lefty, Wood lefty, Price lefty. Again, I really think Dustin May has a good shot at cracking the rotation, and you slide somebody like Wood to the bullpen. And you've also got, you still have Ross Stripling on the team, and he's started some games, so you could have Stripling. He could start some games. Urias is a kind of guy that, when he came up, top prospect situation, one of the best in their system. He's had some trouble. He's primarily pitched out of the bullpen over 4 years. It's 4 years goes by fast, right? He came up 19 years old, started 15 games, 3.39 ERA, 5-2. Things looking good, but then injuries and suspensions and all this other stuff. And last year was good, though. Last year, again, primarily out of the bullpen. Appeared in 37 games, started 8, saved 4, had an ERA of 2.49 and a whip of 1.07. So does he go back to the bullpen, or do you start him? He's 22. I think you got to see what he's got. So I think he's got to go in to the rotation. If I'm going to project out the Dodgers rotation right now, I'm going Buehler, Kershaw, Urias, Price, and May. I think Wood goes to the bullpen. All right, Jeff Passan just tweeting right now. Let's open that. Work with me, technology. Anybody watching the State of the Union tonight? Not me. Come on now, Jeff Passan. Let's go. Just tweeting out. All right, confirming the Kenta Maeda deal. So Kenta Maeda will go to the Twins as part of the Mookie Betts David Price deal. Sources tell ESPN. Outfielder Alex Verdugo and hard-throwing pitching prospect. I'm gonna mispronounce this, so I apologize. Brusdar Gratriol. That's terrible. Who had been with Minnesota would go to the Red Sox. So Red Sox are getting some of the, man, is that it? There's got to be more than that. Verdugo, again, nice player, high ceiling, has shown some great moments. To give him a full, give him a starting spot, give him the reins to right field or center field or left or wherever they're going to put him, and give him a full 162. It'd be great to see what Verdugo can do. It's not going to be close to what Mookie Betts can do. And this pitching prospect, we're going to have to check and see where this guy ranks on the Twins, Minnesota Twins prospects, because if that's all they're getting back, come on now, that would be, I mean, if you're a Red Sox fan, you're going to hate this if that's all they're getting back. Minnesota Twins top prospects. And let's see where this Brusdar lands. Let's look at the Minnesota Twins and their ranking here. Minnesota Twins, third. So he was number 3 prospect in the Twins system. He is 21 years old, 53rd in the top 100 last year. In 2019, pitched 2 games of Rookie League, also pitched in Double-A, was lights out at Double-A, but struggled when he got to Triple-A. But he really didn't pitch much. He pitched in a couple of games. They didn't leave him out there for too long, so really can't trust any of the Double-A numbers, but the Triple-A numbers. But he did pitch well at Double-A. His grades, his fastball grades out at a 70 out of 80. It's pretty nice. Curveball's a 50, sliders a 60, changeup's a 45, control is a 50. You got to control a 50 and a fastball a 70. Watch your head. So that looks like that is what is going back to the Red Sox. It's Verdugo, and from the Twins, Gratriol. And again, I apologize. I know that I'm mispronouncing that name. So that's what we got from Passan. See if we have anything from anybody else right now. Maeda goes to the Twins. If you're just joining, that is also out there. And Pederson goes to the Angels. So what we have at this moment is we have Betts and Price going to LA. We have from LA going to the Angels, Joc Pederson, Kenta Maeda going to the Twins, Alex Verdugo going to the Red Sox. And then from the Twins to the Red Sox, it's the top prospect whose name I'm absolutely butchering, Brusdar Gratriol. So that looks like it's the deal. And again, I know the Red Sox were looking for salary relief, but they got to get there just has to be another name. Take a look at some of the comments right now. Yeah, Bo, I mean, those are 3 of your starters, right? Kershaw, Price, Urias. You're also going to have, one of the best stars in the game right now, Walker Buehler. And, then it'll either be, Wood or May or Stripling. I think it's got to be May. I think you got to give him a shot. You also got Gonsolin. Let's not forget about him. He's, Tony Gonsolin last year started 6 games, 2.93 ERA. The Red Sox have some wealth in the pitching department, And if they really didn't have to give any of that up, if they're only going to give up Kenta Maeda out of this situation, if they're going to give up Maeda, God, what a win for the Dodgers. It looks like they're giving up Pederson, who, again, you couldn't start him against lefties. He was platooning. You give up Maeda, who they had slid to the bullpen last year, and Verdugo. Verdugo's a nice piece. That's Evan. It's Verdugo and a Twins prospect, number 3 prospect in the Twins system, number 53 in the top 100. I'm butchering his name, Brusdar Graterol, who's 21 years old, was at rookie ball, AA and AAA last year, pitched very well at AA, 6-0 in 9 starts with a 1.71 ERA, a 1.01 whip, held opposing hitters to a 179 average. K rate, not that great, 50 strikeouts and 52 innings. You'd like to see that improve a little bit. His fastball grades out very well, 70 out of 80, but overall he's a 55 out of 80. But he's in the top 100. You think maybe the Red Sox get him, but only 4 appearances at AAA for the prospect, and he didn't do that well. Do you see him in Boston next year? I don't know. You'll have Verdugo, and Verdugo's going to be your he's going to be in your everyday lineup. Verdugo was center field for the Dodgers, and now with this move, the Red Sox, they've got Jackie Bradley Jr. in center field, right? It's right field. You're going to have a hole, so you're going to slide him over there. The Red Sox will have Benintendi in left, Bradley Jr. in center, and JD Martinez in right, unless Martinez is DHing, and you'll have Verdugo in right. That's probably what you're going to do. You have Benintendi, Bradley, and Verdugo in your outfield. Martinez will be a DH. Maybe he gets a little bit of time in the outfield when they're in a National League park. So that's what we are hearing right now, and I'm watching new information. All right, Heyman tweeting out right now, well-regarded Brusdar Graterol goes from the Twins to the Red Sox in this deal. The news is slowing down on who's involved, which leads me to believe that might be it. And if you're a Red Sox team, cash consideration is also in the deal. Yes, the Dodgers are going to take on a good chunk of the salary. What I've seen is that it's about half of the price salary the Dodgers are going to take on. So, I saw somebody tongue-in-cheek comment a few days ago that, the Red Sox are going to do this deal. They're going to trade away David Price, and then they're going to go trade away David Price and Mookie Betts, and then they're going to go overpay for somebody in the offseason of 2021. Yeah, probably. To be honest, the Red Sox owe the Dodgers one after cheating them out of the World Series. Yeah, right. I mean, sure. This is going to be Joc to the Angels. So the Angels are just stockpiling hitting, right? You've got Trout, you've got Rendon. I mean, the Angels need pitching, but the Angels are just stockpiling bats at this point. And I don't know, you got Upton in left, Trout in center, Joc Pederson going to probably be your right fielder. You got Goodwin out there too. Goodwin can play anywhere. So the Angels actually were kind of thin in the outfield with just Upton, Trout, and Goodwin. Now you got a fourth guy that you can put out there, and Goodwin can play anywhere. Ohtani's going to be your DH. When they're not worried about his pitching days, and when he's not DHing, you'll have Pujols. So you'll have, I hate to say it, but you could be in a spot. Pederson just does what he did with the Dodgers, where he and Goodwin sort of platoon out there in right field. Still probably have some good numbers coming from Pederson. He's still got the potential to hit 30 home runs and do some good out there for the Angels. Goodwin last year was nice. 413 at bats, 17 homers, 47 RBIs, slash 262, 342, had an OPS of 796. So Goodwin was nice. But now he'll probably enter into a platoon situation. Now here's the deal though. Goodwin's a lefty. So you got 2 lefties out there. Who are you going to platoon them with? It doesn't really make sense to have 2 lefties platooning out there because that just doesn't work. We'll have to see how that plays out. But, this is something. Let's see what Passan's talking about. We do have a 1 minute. All right. Infielder, we have some news. We have another player adding into this deal. We have infielder Luis. God, these prospects that I have no idea how to pronounce their names. This is a joke. Luis Rengifo, Rengifo, is headed to the Dodgers in the deal. All right, we got to look up and see what he is. So he's going to the Dodgers. So the Dodgers, out of all this, are getting a prospect. I gotta think that's coming from the Twins too, right? Let's see. Looking at the Twins prospects, and I'm not seeing him show up there. Could the Red Sox have actually sent a prospect along in this deal? And looking at the Red Sox top prospects, I'm not seeing him there either. We're going to have to do the old-fashioned hop on MILB.com and pop his name in there and see what we get. I have no idea where he's coming from. Let's see. Looking up Luis, R-E-N, coming from the Angels. All right, let's look up the Angels' top prospects. That is what the Dodgers are getting back in return for Joc Pederson. Because again, now the Dodgers outfield is a little overmanned. Luis doesn't look like he is a top prospect. He's 22. In 2019, AAA, 273, 336, 446, got up to played with the Angels last year. 238, 321, 364. So not a whole lot there. I mean, infield depth is what looks like it's coming back. So the Dodgers will get some infield depth like they need that right now. The Dodgers are the deepest team, I feel like, in baseball. They're so deep that they roll out a different lineup regularly versus lefties or versus righties. The infield for the Dodgers, it's Turner, it's Hernandez, it's Muncy, it's Seager, it's Lux, it's Beatty. They have too much when it comes to infielders. So that's the latest name. Angels sending Luis Rengifo to the Angels sending him to the Dodgers to complete the deal for Joc Pederson. Let's check and see what Heyman's talking about, if he has anything new. 1 minute, just a minute ago. Dodgers will try to keep Mookie Betts long-term. Talks may not start immediately, but they hope this isn't a one-year thing. They love Mookie, who was unable to come to a multi-year agreement with the Red Sox despite many tries. Right, again, we had, a 10-year deal, $300 million. That's what the Red Sox were offering Mookie Betts. That's a little light compared to what the likes of Mike Trout, Bryce Harper are getting, and that's the company that he's in. So the Red Sox, yes, they made a good offer, but it wasn't enough. And we don't know if any of that money was deferred. So there you go. Betts to the Dodgers. And of course they want to keep him long-term. Now if you ask me, they didn't have to give up a lot here. Verdugo is a nice player, but for the Red Sox to only get back one prospect, they got one prospect back, not even a top 50 prospect, number 53 prospect in baseball. That's who they get back in Verdugo. That's it. That seems light to me. And I know the Dodgers are taking on some money for David Price, but if this is the best deal that they could get, I mean, here's the thing. You got the money situation, you got the price situation, that all wraps into it. But these deals they sort of set the market for other deals, for an Arenado trade, for a Bryant trade, for a Lindor trade. Does this deal at all impact those trades? And I don't know. The outlier here is the David Price contract, right? Red Sox wanted to unload that. I don't know. I don't know if it does that, but let's think about the AL East now. I think we can all agree, even if there's a bunch of Red Sox fans in here, that the Yankees are primed for the AL East in 2020. They just have too much talent. So the Yankees, I think the Red Sox basically just step out of the way and hold the door open for the Yankees for first place in the American League East in 2020. Because David Price still has talent. He still could come back and do something, but he's gone now. So I think the Red Sox are holding the door open for the Yankees to win that division. And then after that, where do the Red Sox even fall? I mean, shoot. You've got – hold on a minute. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, plugging in the old computer there. So you've got for the rest of the division, second place, really now it feels like it's up for grabs between the Rays. Maybe the Red Sox can compete. They've still got Chris Sale as the ace of that rotation. They still have some guys that can hit with Devers and Bogarts. But do the Red Sox still compete? I don't know. Maybe for the wild card. But the Jays are not going to be an easy out this year. The Rays are going to be feisty. So it's going to be interesting now that the Red Sox are without these two guys. Let's see if we have any other new information coming from any of our guys. Hammond reporting that they're going to try to keep Betts long-term, of course. We have the confirmation on what the Dodgers are getting back for Pederson as he goes. They don't need him anymore. That outfield is, again, a little bit overmanned. So Maeda is going to the Twins. Looks like that's everything. Looks like that's everybody that's involved. 3-team deal. Dodgers, Twins, Red Sox, Twins giving up a prospect. As part of the 3-team deal, did the Twins need to give up their number 3 prospect for Maeda? I don't know. I mean, where is Kenta Maeda at this point in his career? I mean, again, the Dodgers. Now, granted, the Dodgers were giving their young guys a chance, but where is Maeda at this point in his career? Is he worth? I mean, basically, it's Maeda's coming in, and a number 3 prospect is going out. Maeda last year, 10-8 with a 4.04 ERA. He's going to be 32 for the 2020 season. So, who knows? I don't know if the Twins necessarily needed that. I was on here not too long ago talking about the Twins and their rotation, and I felt comfortable with the Twins rotation heading into 2020 with where they're at. The fact that the Twins are going to get to go up against the Royals and the Tigers, and the Indians are kind of trending in a potentially a rebuilding situation. The Twins getting rid of Kluber, the Lindor talks and everything. So a Twins rotation with Jose Barrios, who I believe can be knocking on the door of the conversation of one of the top 10 starters in baseball. Odorizzi had a very nice year last year. Dobnak is a good pitcher. Pineda was good. You've got Rich Hill coming in. I felt like the Twins rotation was good enough. Is Maeda an upgrade over Barrios, Odorizzi, Hill when he's healthy, Pineda, Dobnak? I don't know. I kind of think not. If I'm going with with just my gut there. So that's what we have happening, and it looks like that is going to be. Looks like that's going to be the complete deal. The notifications are sort of slowing down from Rosenthal and Betts. Now here's the information. This is interesting. So Ken Rosenthal just tweeting out right now. Mookie Betts wants to be a free agent And that's why the Red Sox did this. He's got a column in The Athletic. So if you subscribe to The Athletic, you can check that out. I do not. So I'll only get like the first paragraph and then it's going to disappear. So we can talk about that for a second. Mookie Betts wants to be a free agent. Now, if the Dodgers knew this coming in, and so all they had to do was really just give up Verdugo and take on some salary, why not? Because the Dodgers are loaded up now to go win the World Series. I mean, they were in my mind going to be World Series favorites as it is to start the 2020 season. And now you throw in Mookie Betts. This already was a dangerous lineup. It's going to be even more dangerous at this point. So Mookie Betts wants to be a free agent per Ken Rosenthal. I mean, the Dodgers are going to try to re-sign him. You know, they get a chance to bring him in, show him the town, get him used to these guys. You got a better shot at signing him long-term at the end of this year than you would bringing him in cold as a free agent at the end of the 2020 season. So they get a chance to show him LA. You know, if he goes and wins a World Series, you know, there you go. And then the Dodgers are in LA. You know, they're going to have money, so they'll certainly have a chance to re-sign him. But Ken Rosenthal just tweeting out with his and adding a link to his article that Mookie Betts wants to be a free agent. I mean, that's a big part of this. You know, the Dodgers bring in Verdugo, they get some control there, right? You know, they're going to control Verdugo for a few years, and he's going to cost a fraction of what Mookie Betts. And Mookie Betts wants to be a free agent. It's not a given that you're going to stay with your team. Machado left the Orioles. Trout, you know, he did stay with the Angels, but they got him done early. They didn't let him get to free agency. The Red Sox were trying to avoid free agency with Betts, and it just he wasn't biting. They also didn't give him a offer too good to refuse. You know, 10 for $300 wasn't going to do it. But you know, the Orioles lost Machado, the Nats lost Harper. These guys are okay heading out and testing it. You know, Rendon left the Nats, so the Red Sox have seen what happens here, and at least they get Verdugo back. And so we'll kind of see how that impacts everything. And if you're a Dodgers fan, you gotta be excited. Red Sox fan, maybe not so much. What did the Red Sox get back? They got Alex Verdugo, a nice outfield piece in split time last year, put up some nice numbers. So they get Verdugo, and they get the number 3 prospect from the Twins organization, and they get financial relief from David Price. So this is going to give the Dodgers an opportunity to next year go out and sign somebody. Yeah, that's certainly going to be there. But for 2020, I don't know how excited you're going to be. Mookie Betts was your guy. I don't understand it. Listen, hey, Mookie Betts wants to be a free agent. That changes things. But in my opinion, if you can, you make these guys happy. When you have a top 5 player in the league, you make them happy and you keep them. And you do whatever it takes to keep them, because you don't replace Mookie Betts. It's just not going to happen. Verdugo is going to have a nice year, but he's not even going to come close. So looking to see if we have any other information. Heyman is now back to tweeting about the Mets and that debacle today, which we won't really discuss at this point because it's not relevant to what's going on. Yeah, Joc Pederson going to the Angels. It's just too many outfielders. Too many outfielders in LA now. Let's put the depth chart back up for the Dodgers. So you'll have a situation where Pollock is your left fielder, Bellinger is your center fielder, and Betts is in right. And you'll have Taylor moving around everywhere. You'll have Beatty, you'll go everywhere. You got a couple guys that can basically play anywhere. And that's going to be your situation. And you're not going to mess with that. You're not going to tinker with Pollock, Bellinger, and Betts. So that'll be your outfield, and they're going to feel pretty comfortable with that. You know, I think, last year's All-Star game, I really thought that the National League had their outfield set for the next 10 years with Acuna, Bellinger, and Yelich. And now you throw Betts into the situation. I mean, the Dodgers are going to have an all-star outfield with those two. So very interesting. Let's see if we have anything more from Ken Rosenthal. Nothing other than the tweet of Betts wanting to be a free agent. Let's look at Joc Pederson and see if there's anything else coming out of Joc Pederson and ESPN. Just the piece headed to the Dodgers from the Angels to complete the Pederson deal. So that's it. It was about an hour ago. We had the news break that Mookie Betts and David Price was indeed happening for the Dodgers. Now, here again, Jon Heyman, you have to follow him. You have to set alerts for him because this was coming, and he had the scoop. He didn't have the news, but he knew it was coming. So I'm going back. Here we go. 1 hour ago. This was maybe about, I don't know, 10 minutes before the announcement. Mookie Betts talks are heating up again, likely to happen soon. Dodgers seen as favorite, though Padres haven't been completely out of touch. So before the news breaks, before Passan broke it, about 10 minutes, Heyman put that out there. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, uh-oh, it's coming. Heyman knows too many people. He knows too much to just casually put this out there. He knew it was coming. So that goes down. Now, the Padres miss out here. The Padres were looking to make a splash. Last year, they made the splash with Machado. The talk was that they were in on this. The Padres had a lot of talent. They have a very deep farm system, pitchers that haven't even made it up yet, other position players. So that doesn't, the Padres fall out of this here because, listen, if you're Mookie Betts and you're deciding between the Dodgers or the Padres, you know which way you're going. The Padres are still a couple of years away from being a couple of years away. That's just the tongue-in-cheek Padres situation right now. That the Dodgers are ready to go. The Dodgers are going to be World Series favorites out of that National League and go play for the World Series. Now, obviously, the Red Sox don't care what Mookie Betts thinks in a situation like this because they probably feel hurt that they wanted to do the deal. And with what the Red Sox are getting back, they are not going to go out there and sort of be quiet about this. They're going to make it clear that they did everything they could to re-sign Mookie Betts and that he just didn't want anything to do with it. So that's going to be out there because Red Sox fans just looking at this, seeing it on Twitter, gonna catch it on the news, wherever they're going to get it from, they're going to be like, wait, so we got rid of Mookie and we're getting some guy named Verdugo back. I guarantee you half of Red Sox fans don't even know Alex Verdugo, who they're getting back. So that's what's going to happen. We lost Mookie and we got some guy named Verdugo. That's how they're going to look at it, and they're not going to care because when they look up, all right, let's see who's Alex Verdugo. They're going to see he was a guy who played 100 games last year and hit about 10 home runs. Last year, 12 home runs in 343 plate appearances. Verdugo's a nice player, though. Verdugo in, again, part-time duty, because that's basically everybody in LA except for Bellinger. Put up an OPS of 817. Not bad, right? An OPS of 817. Mookie Betts last year in a down year for his standards had an OPS of 915. So, but listen, Mookie Betts, his OPS lived in the 800s the first 4 years of his time with Boston. 812, 820, 897, 803. But then he had the MVP season in 18 where his OPS jumped over 1,000, and last year's OPS was 915. So this is big news. It certainly shakes things up in the East. I think it makes the Dodgers even more of a World Series favorite in the West and coming out of the National League. So there you go. Let's see what you guys are talking about in the chat. The Braves, the pitching, that whole situation, trying to get Arenado. Listen, I know no one wants out of Colorado. I don't know what the Brave situation is financially at this point after bringing in Ozuna. Maybe they do that deal, but I don't know what the Braves are thinking financially. So that's the deal. News has kind of calmed down. Don't hear any more names. I think that's it. It is final. Bets. All right, here we go. Final deal. So we got LA gets Mookie Betts, David Price, and cash. I'm sorry, Boston gets cash. No, I'm sorry, Boston. So let me back this up. LA gets Betts and Price and some cash. The Twins get Maeda. Boston gets Verdugo and Gretriol. Again, I've mispronounced that maybe 10 times now. That's the number 3 prospect in the Twin system, number 53 in the top 100. And separately, the Dodgers trade Pederson to the Angels for the Angels infielder Luis Rengifo. So there you go. That's the deal. And again, the LA Dodgers now, I mean, who's gonna I don't know who's gonna compete with them. You know, the Diamondbacks have been doing a lot to try to compete this year, bringing in Bumgarner, making the trade for Marte. This certainly, though, pushes the Dodgers past them. I mean, the Diamondbacks were going for the wild card anyway. That's everything. That's what we got. And I don't know, again, just thinking about what does this do? What sort of benchmark does this set for other trades? What benchmark does this set for an Arenado deal, a Bryant deal, a Lindor deal? You know, I think it may not impact it just because of that David Price situation. Obviously, the Dodgers didn't want to give up a whole lot if Mookie Betts is adamant that he wants to be a free agent, and that salary situation with Price and Betts is getting paid this year too. So that's it. Verdugo power still has come. Yeah, listen, Verdugo is nice, and I think he has a good year, but the hard thing is Red Sox fans are going to look at it as this is the guy we got back. They're not going to care about that prospect because we're probably not going to see him this year. So there's going to be a lot on his shoulders. And does he go into a new town? Does he go into Boston feeling like he's got to do too much? And he coming up lame. Don't know the kind of person he is, if he's able to handle that pressure, but there's going to be a lot of pressure because he's going to be the guy that replaced Mookie. And Mookie was the Red Sox. I hope he does well, and we'll just kind of see how that plays out. And that's what we got. Let me do another look to see if we have anything from Heyman or anybody. Now, listen here. While I'm looking that up, everybody who's on here, I'm doing projections for the 2020 season. They're going to start coming out over the next couple days. If you check out the channel, you'll see we did a lot of Blue Jays projections. That's my team. So that's who we did first. But we're going to be jumping into the rest of baseball. And one of the projections we're going to be doing is Mookie Betts. And we're also going to be doing a projection for Alex Verdugo. So a couple of the pieces included in this trade, there's going to be projections for over the next couple of days. So if you're into baseball, I'm assuming if you're hopping in here, you are. Make sure you sub and check back because we're going to be doing projections. Going to be doing about 100 projections between now and opening day at the end of March. So you're going to want to check that out. We're going to be doing bets. We're going to be doing Bellinger. I got about, I mean, now with bets heading over, I feel like I probably got about 8 Dodgers teed up for this thing. A bunch of Red Sox teed up for it. So we'll be doing projections. The projections are not my own. They come from Ron Chandler. Anybody who knows him, he's with USA Today Sports. He puts out a baseball forecast and encyclopedia. So we put together some of the numbers from his projections for the 2020 season, and we put that out there for you guys to check out. So check that out if you're interested and want to see what some of the players are projected for. Projections are based on a lot of the sabermetric numbers, expected home runs, home run to fly ball rate, all that, right? So you might want to check that out. But that's it. We've got no more news coming out, so the deal is done. Again, Dodgers get Betts, Price, and cash. The Twins get Maeda. I don't think they needed him. That's the crazy part to me, is that the Twins are involved in this now. The Dodgers get out of this without having to give up one of their top pitching prospects. They get out of this without including May, and they get Minnesota to give up the pitching prospect, and Minnesota gets Maeda back. I almost kind of feel like the Twins got the wool pulled over their eyes with this one, because why? What does Maeda do? How much value does Maeda bring to the Twins? He's going to eat a lot of innings, sure. Might win 10 games, good. That's fine, but I don't really know where the Twins kind of, why they needed to get involved here. And then Pederson going to the Angels, because at this point now he wasn't going to play. So that needed to happen. We do have a new tweet from Ken Rosenthal. Let's see what we got there, because I want to let you guys know if there's anything new that's coming up. Again, we're feeding everything along. Andy McCullough. Andy McCullough is senior writer at The Athletic. So it's retweeted. Through patience, discipline, and creativity, Andrew Friedman added Mookie Betts and David Price onto a roster that won 106 games last year. The Dodgers have ended this winter with a roar. Certainly, Dodgers are most definitely the favorites to come out of the National League. I mean, I don't even know who's gonna challenge them. I mean, listen, you have the defending world champions, right? You got the Nats, but what's going to happen is, in the National League East, the Braves, the Nats, the Mets, and the Phillies are going to beat the crap out of each other all season long, and they're going to be gassed, right? The Cardinals in the Century, you got the Cardinals, Brewers, and Cubs. The Reds are probably going to compete this year. And out west, the Dodgers, Arizona. I mean, San Francisco, Colorado, and San Diego just sort of fall even further back with this deal. Arizona's probably going to take that wild card. The Central's going to be a fight. The East is going to be a fight. Dodgers are going to kind of be able to cruise through the regular season as long as they don't have any injuries. I mean, nothing is given, but that's the truth of it. 106 wins last year, second most in all of baseball, behind the trash can banging Astros, who won 107 games. But the Dodgers, this is gonna be just a cakewalk. The National League is a tough place to play right now, because you got 4 competing teams in the East. You're gonna have 4 competing teams in the Central. The West, you're gonna have 2 competing teams, Dodgers and Diamondbacks. So I think you probably have the Dodgers coming out of the West, the Central, Cardinals, the Brewers, the Cubs, and the Reds. Realistically, it'll come down to St. Louis, Milwaukee, and Chicago. Now, Milwaukee has lost a couple of guys. Milwaukee loses Grandal, Milwaukee loses Moustakas, but they've got Yelich. They'll be back. They'll be ready to go. Who challenges them? Atlanta, Donaldson went to the Twins. I know that they bring those Marcell Ozuna in, but how much of an impact does that make? Washington is without Anthony Rendon. The Mets just always seem to mess it up. I don't know what's going to happen with the Mets. Philadelphia, with all the talk that they had last year with Bryce Harper and Real Muto and McCutchen, they finished 500. Finished with a run differential of -20 last year. So where Philly falls into it, it's the Dodgers are certainly the cream of the crop out there in the West, and that makes all the sense in the world now with this team. Dodgers are certainly legit at this point. Stupid to trade Mookie Betts just starting his prime Red Sox. Listen, a lot that is going to be the sentiment from a lot of Red Sox fans, because Mookie Betts is just 26. He's going to be 27 next year. He's been, again, in the MVP conversation every year. He's been a regular. The last 4 years, he's been in the top 10 in voting. He won it in 2018. And last year, he regressed a little bit, but he was still 8th in the MVP voting. So Mookie Betts was your guy. And for him to maybe fall victim to the David Price contract, that's why teams and analysts come on when guys like Anthony Rendon and Bryce Harper, they go to these new teams and they sign 10, 11, 12-year deals saying, hey, these guys, this franchise is going to have to eat it in the last half of the deal. This is the Red Sox having to eat it with the David Price deal. That's what's happening here. But again, David Price, when he signed, that's what they had to do to get him. And David Price helped them win a World Series. He was clutch in that in the World Series and in the playoffs in 2018. In 2018, in the World Series, he pitched 13 2/3 innings. He went 2-0, an ERA of 1.98, a WHIP of 0.95. He was clutch in the World Series. He helped them win that 18 World Series, and now they move on without him and without Mookie Betts. But that's what they had to do to get David Price in. They had to give him that crazy, crazy salary. 7 years, $217 million. It's because he went to Toronto and he pitched his ass off. 9-1 in 11 starts with a 2.3 ERA, 87 Ks and 74 innings. One of his best K rates of his career, 10.5. Now, last year's K rate was 10.7, so he just barely eked out that previous career high. But that's what they had to do because teams were coming at him. The Jays were trying to get him to re-sign at the end of 15. He was one of the premier free agents, and it's what the Red Sox had to do. But they're definitely eating it here, and in a bad way, having to get rid of Mookie Betts. It's gonna be something. It's gonna be something. Just kind of see how this all plays out. The Red Sox move on without what looked like was going to be their cornerstone player for the next, for at least the foreseeable future. Red Sox now, you'll have, we talked about it earlier, but you'll have Benintendi in left, you'll have Bradley in center, and you'll move Verdugo into right. Still going to be a good team. They're still going to be a good team. Going through the American League East, again, Yankees are primed to take that division. But when it comes to a wild card spot out of the East, when it comes to second and third place, the Red Sox are still going to be competing for that spot. I'm going to be doing a Chris Sale projection here. I've got sort of all, done my research on it, done the prep on it. I think Chris Sale has a bounce back season. So the Red Sox are still going to be competing, and, can they get second place? Can they get a wild card? Can they surprise people? I think Verdugo will fit in nicely. He's just not going to be Mookie Betts. And that's my worry I brought up earlier. Red Sox fans are going to be looking at this is the guy who replaced Mookie. And if he goes out there in April and hits one home run and has a batting average of 210, Red Sox fans are going to be all over him. And it won't be fair if that happens. Hopefully they let him come along, but it's Red Sox, that town. It's probably one of the toughest places to go play because of how seriously they take their baseball. So we'll kind of see how Verdugo does, Verdugo does there. And all right, Adrian Wojnarowski, that's basketball. We don't care about what he's talking about. Looks like Trump is wrapping up his State of the Union, so we can all go back to our TVs now. Sorry. And that's it. That's the full deal. Betts, Price, Maeda, Verdugo, Joc Pederson. Again, Joc, not really the odd man out here, but lifelong Dodger. Had been with the club since 2014, came up. In 2015, made the All-Star team, was 6th in Rookie of the Year. So, I know, Dodgers fans had a warm place in their heart for Joc Pederson. Last year, career high 36 home runs, career high OPS 876. He's just 27. Joc Pederson going to the Angels, and again, the Angels are just sort of stockpiling bats. They're just going to try to outslug teams because the Angels pitching is just not where it needs to be. We don't know what Ohtani's going to be. And you got a bunch of guys they're taking chances on with Tehran and Bundy. What does Canning give them in a full year? What's Haney give them? So, the Angels are kind of lacking that ace, but they're going to pound you. Trout, Rendon. Again, the situation with Goodwin, I don't know what you do. I really don't know what you do with Goodwin at this point. He's a lefty. Pederson's a lefty. So it makes no sense for that platoon situation in right field. You got Upton. You're not going to platoon Upton. That's kind of interesting to me. That's who the Angels get. I don't understand why the Angels didn't get Pollock. Like that. That would have made more sense if the Angels had said, all right, we understand you have too many outfielders now. We want A.J. Pollock. Unless the Dodgers just didn't want to give him up. Because the Angels outfield situation with Goodwin and Pederson and Wright, you got two lefties. There's no platoon situation that makes sense out there. But if you had Goodwin and Pollock, okay, that makes sense. Because you're not going to platoon Upton, and obviously Trout is going to just mash. So very interesting. It's kind of a head-scratching move that Pederson's a part of that deal because the DH spot's taken. The DH spot is taken by two guys with the Angels, Ohtani and Pujols. Pujols can play first, but there's just no room. And Ohtani's a lefty too, so kind of interesting that Joc Pederson is the player going over to the Angels. Joe Adell, great question. Where's he going to play? Let's think about that for a second. Where are we going to see Joe Adell? You've got. Oh, that's a good question. Joe Adell's probably going to start in the minors at this point because of the fact that right now there's really nowhere for him to go. That's what I'm going to guess, anyways. That he's going to start the year. He's an outfielder. Now he is a righty. So when you're thinking about that whole platoon situation, that lefty-righty spot, if they want to bring him up and have him play, alongside Pederson. But again, what do you do with Goodwin? I think they just showing that they're moving off from Goodwin. So we'll kind of see how that plays out. But Adell could be Joe Adell could be in right field, and at least in the beginning, platoon with Goodwin or Pederson at that point. So that's the situation. So again, thanks for hopping on. I wanted to come on here and just talk this out with you guys, let you guys know what was happening as it was happening. Big deal. Betts and Price to the Dodgers. Maeda goes to the Twins, as the Twins are the third team involved here. Sox get Verdugo and a prospect from Minnesota. And separately, the Dodgers trade Pederson to the Angels for Ringfo. So that's everything that we have. Again, I am going to be doing over these next few weeks, heading into the baseball season projections. So if you're into fantasy baseball, you want to see what the forecast is for guys like Betts and Verdugo, two of the key pieces here. Those will be coming out, so check those out. Thanks again for hopping on. I'm going to cut this out here. It doesn't look like there's any more information, but hey, listen, as this stuff breaks, as it happens, come on, we talk about it, we break it down. Love to see you guys involved. talking to in the chat. This is a good place, good forum to talk some baseball. And again, thanks for coming on. If you haven't already, please sub. Love the subs. And if you're into baseball, we're just doing a ton of baseball content here as we get ready for for spring training to kick off here in a couple weeks. So thanks again for hopping off here. Bets to the Dodgers. We'll see how it all plays out. Thanks for hopping on, guys, and we'll talk soon.